afternoon. I'm Paul Mclean, the head for data literacy for the Asia Pacific region for Qlik, and I'm here today to talk to you about data literacy and the study that we've actually worked through from a global standpoint, but in particular we're talking today about the Asia Pacific region and of course India, because we're here in India. I think one of the important things to understand is some of the reasoning why we've actually done this study, and that is to consider, I think, part of the gap that exists within data literacy. If you like, the context of people being data literate at the top of an organisation because they have more access to data, versus people underneath that and going down further through the organisation who are not actively using data necessarily or understanding what to do with that data on a daily basis. So we've built a program. This study is the first part of understanding and, if you like, qualifying the challenges and also the opportunities that exist inside each of those individual markets. Part of the data literacy survey, so India actually ranks the highest in the APAC region as far as being data literate. It sits at 45%, as opposed to Australia at 20, Singapore at 15, China at 11, and Japan at 6%. And I think there's varying reasons as to why that is, but certainly in India, access to information, but the culture of understanding and working with data is also, I think, far more prevalent in the Indian region. So in defining data literacy, it's the ability to read, work with, analyse and also argue with data. And they were the four pillars, if you like, that we measured as part of the survey. And what we found was that 45%, or almost 1 in 2 workers in India, are classified as data literate, as I mentioned previously, but only 29% agreed that everyone in their business is empowered and proficient in using data. That's interesting because I think that whilst we can see that there's a great opportunity, there's a great uptake, there is also massive opportunity to help other people in the organisation become data literate. And we're not just talking about, as I mentioned, just senior executives or people who are always used to handling data. These are people at every different level of an organisation having some performance or capability of an aspect of access to data. Further to that, 81% admitted feeling overwhelmed when reading, working, analysing and challenging data. That again plays to the fact that we've got a culture that needs to be more data literate in understanding what they're seeing, what they're understanding, in order to be far more effective as an individual, but also in the workplace. Further, I think part of the study we highlighted that data literacy and job performance. So 72% of India workers use data once a week or more in their current job roles. And 85% say they work with a higher volume of data today compared to 3 years ago. And that's a reality. We're using far more data. There's far more data that is being generated and accessed. You can use the word deluge of data, I suppose, in many respects. And so they're somewhat daunted as to the amount of data and then how to articulate what part of this analytics economy, if you like, am I actually playing a part in? And therefore, what part do I need to understand in order to be more literate, to be able to cope in that environment? 61% strongly believe that they've had adequate training to be data literate, which is great. And 93% believe improved data literacy would increase their value at work. I mentioned at the start, this is not just about the value of data, it's also about the increased capability of people and giving them opportunities, greater opportunities in the workplace individually, but then as a movement, getting the organisations to be far more literate, if you like, and successful in doing so. The future of data literacy is really promising. I mean, 99% agree that data helps them do their jobs better. 96% think higher data literacy would enhance their credibility in the workplace. And 95% confirmed that they would be willing to invest more improving their data skills given the chance. And I think that's an important part. So we're seeing that we've got a culture and a platform of people really keen, really wanting to be able to be successful, and when they're getting access to data, they're actually really wanting to drive that change. So that's fantastic. If we had the opposite, we'd have a double challenge, I suppose, in essence. I think further, what we've seen is we've seen organisations, and data literacy is not actually new, but from a Qlik perspective, this is really important. If we start to see how involved we can be in also the academic side, so we've built an academic program that sits behind this to reinforce and to give people the skills. So it's not just 2 words called data literacy, it's actually a complete program. Based on your capabilities today, you can take a structured program which will be available at the end of April this year. Your structured program based on your assessment, if you like, your skill assessment, which will guide you through all the necessary education resources that are available for free for anybody to be able to take this data literacy journey. And as we've seen, the statistics show India's leading. It's a great opportunity to continue that, if you like, that dominance, but to also fill the gap, which is there. The gap is between that top end and the bottom end. How do we actually get all of these other people in their workplace being far more data literate?